welcome to the Free Radicals presenting Schrödinger's Hat. Thank you very much. This is a debut performance specifically put together for British Science Week, which I believe many of you have come through the British Science Association's marketing efforts. There are some familiar improv faces here as well. So, quick show of hands, who here is a regular attendee of our improv shows? Okay, and who's come for the very first time to see what all this is about? Wow, so there are a lot of virgins. Okay, so the aim of this show is to add a bit of science and mix it in with a bit of alternative fact, provide an irreverent take on some science topics for you, and give you a nice Friday night out. Before we get started though, I'd like to just quickly hand over to Carl from the British Science Association. He's going to say a few words about the British Science Week and some of the events. Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl from the British Science Association. I'm just going to say a few words about what's happened during the week. Thank you very much for turning up tonight. This is, as Dave says, the first time we've done this, so it's fantastic to see a full house. How many of you have turned up to other events during the week, earlier in the week?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been an excellent turnout. We've had full houses all week. It runs into the weekend as well. We still have a few events to go, so feel free to turn up to those. I think they're all free, so carry on. And also we have events. We're looking to expand our range of events throughout the year, including more of these possibly, if anyone's up for that. Yes, excellent, glad to hear it. And also we have on the first Wednesday of every month, we also have a talk on science at this venue as well. Downstairs, it's called Cafe Sci, and it's got some fantastic speakers all the time. So please feel free to come up for that. Anyway, I'm going to hand you back to the show.
Thank you. Okay, for those of you who've never been to an improv show before, the rules are pretty simple. Anything goes. This is a series of improvised games and scenes that we will perform for your pleasure and also for our own. So we will be enjoying ourselves, and hopefully you will be too. And we will be putting a science flair on and theme on all of the things that we do this evening, so that we stay true to the spirit of British Science Week. But you may hear some things which you think, is that true or is that false, which is the notion of Schrödinger's hat. That was the device that he would communicate his findings through, so you would never actually know whether he was telling the truth or just making it up. In some cases it was actually both at the same time. During the evening we're going to have quite a bit of audience participation. So part one, which is the first part of the show, we've driven a lot by suggestions from you, and you'll be directing a lot of the action that happens on stage. So straight after the break, we are going to have a serious science talk from our guest science communicator, Tom Sizmur, who will give a short talk on a serious scientific topic. We will then interpret that in our unique Free Radicals way to give you a sense of what this science could possibly give us. We're going to start with a game which is called Pressure Cooker, and this begins with 4 players up on stage. So the 4 players, please. It's Seamus, John, Chris, Weiju. Sorry, Caitlin. Sorry, it's Caitlin.
Yeah. You can do it. That's
No,
fine.
it's the beard. Sorry, I forgot. Chris is the one with the beard. Caitlin is the one without the beard. Sorry about that. So in this game, we are going to have a 1-minute scene with all 4 players. Okay. After that, we're going to get your feedback on who was the most important player in this scene. That person is removed from the scene. We then replay the entire scene, all parts, all dialogue, with just 3 players in 50 seconds. And again, with 2 players in 40 seconds. Finally, 1 player has to do the whole thing, all 4 parts in 30 seconds. Okay, got that? So it's entirely down to you guys to make yourself so invaluable that you're voted out at the end.
It's exactly how my marriage works.
So to start
It was
with,
an awkward laugh. That's what's
we're going to need a suggestion for a place, a scene where people may mingle, for example, a bus station or an airport. So any suggestions of where people could be gathering?
A&E.
An A&E department, that sounds pretty good. So we will start with our first scene. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And so we've been looking at the methadone injections of... Trevor, look, come on. You've been working here now for how long?
4 years, 3 months, 12 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're a qualified doctor.
Yeah, it's the blood's so icky. I don't like it.
We do clean the blood away. It's fine.
But not enough.
It's very hygienic. I take a lot of pride.
Well, just show a bit more then.
Well,
Guys, I've been here for 10 years! 10 years, when are you going to acknowledge me?
Look, anyway, as I was saying, you really need to get over this kind of fear of blood and of, just your vomit. And where do these come from? So really what you need to kind of go is face your fear each time.
Face my fear.
Yes.
What, with all the blood and the...
Yeah, there must be some way of doing it.
And scene! Okay. We now need appreciation or an audience clapometer. Who was the most active in that scene? Was it Seamus?
Seamus.
Was it Caitlin? Was it John? Was it Weiju? Okay. I think it was John.
Oh, crap. Okay.
So, the same scene is run with 50 seconds, 3 players, starting from now.
Okay, we're here for the methadone. Look, Frank, if that is your name, if I can remember it correctly. How long have you been here?
10 years, 6 months, 5 days, and 2 hours.
Exactly, and you're still getting sick. You're a doctor, for God's sakes, man.
It's just the blood, this is all so icky.
Oh, look, we've spent so much time cleaning up the blood.
Guys, I've been here 10 years!
Now let's really look at this again. Oh, please, if you can you need to face your fear. You really need to kind of go for it.
I don't know how to. It's always been there.
Hey, where did these come from? What I think you need to be really doing is you need to get into that surgery. You need to get your hands elbow deep. I mean, yes, get those clean, please, because we have been cleaning all the walls.
Scene! Okay. Was it Seamus?
Give it!
Was it Caitlin?
No.
Was it Weiju? I think Seamus.
Yeah, you're on.
Guys, let me just explain something here. The harder you work, the less you work later on in the game. So work hard, you get time off for good behaviour, okay?
That was in no way patronising the game.
Right then, we're going to start again with 40 seconds, starting from now.
Frank, what's wrong with you? Just let it all out. Just let it all out.
I've only been here 7 years, 3 days, and 2 months.
What's wrong with you, Frank? You know how to do medical. You've been through medical school.
I've been here 10 years.
Why? Where did these come from? So, as I was saying.
Still here.
Yes.
And scene! Okay. Was it Caitlin? Was it Weiju?
Awesome.
Maybe a bit of help here. So
I can use some help here, please.
if you see maybe a point where more energy is needed or she's missed a line, please just help her out. Shout it out.
I don't
Get
think
her
that's helping.
going.
Not gonna lie. I don't think that's helping.
Not from where I'm standing.
Okay.
We start again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Master.
Frank, how are you?
You've been here a really long time. Like 6 months and 12 years and 3 days.
Claire is getting sick.
There's so much getting sick. Still cleaning. I'm just here. When are you guys gonna actually acknowledge me? Well then.
And scene.
Oh, me.
Okay, hopefully we got the energy going. We're now going to try an old game with the whole cast. Change of order from the what I said to you guys, and this is going to be our periodic table alphabet game. So I need to get my prop from the back here, because what we are going to have is a game involving all players doing a number of scenes, and we're going to have, hopefully, just get some. Can you see that at the back? Okay. So the way this works is that, yes, the laptop, thank you, it was the smart ass. You get an extra beer for that one. What we're going to do is ask for an element from the periodic table, and what you see on the screen here, obviously some of these elements have a single letter, others have 2 letters. The very first thing that one of the players will say will have to be a word or words matching the initial letters of those 2. So, hello Eric, for example, that's how this goes. If there is any hesitation or uncertainty, we're going to invoke the Heisenberg uncertainty principle here. We want the audience to shout Heisenberg if there is any uncertainty in the players. So can I hear it after 3? Shout Heisenberg. 1, 2, 3.
Heisenberg! I didn't hear that.
And again. Heisenberg! That was the same volume, wasn't it?
Give a really big one.
One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. After that, we then end that scene, and other players come in and they pick up from the next letter in the periodic table, and they do another scene. But the location is the same. So as before, where we had the A&E department, can I have a suggestion for a location where lots of different meetings and relationships might be taking place?
Asylum. Chemistry lab.
Oh, I think a chemistry lab in an asylum. Okay, so can I have two players up to start, and can I have because I don't think any of us can quite remember where in the periodic table we are on these things, and an atomic number of an element that we can start with.
79.
79, so we're going to start with gold. Okay. Remember, any hesitation at all. Heisenberg!
And under this table, Eric, you can see the animals that I have created.
Hello, Gary.
Sorry, that was operator error.
Yeah, swap him out. Hello, Gary. Well, thank you for pointing that out. Can you go into more detail, please?
Please, Brian! I know exactly what I'm doing! I have a PhD!
But it doesn't require a PhD to understand how to put the blocks into the holes.
Plenty of people have worked in this here asylum of Great Lakes without a PhD.
And that's not in question. That's not in question. The problem is not many people who are here involuntarily require a PhD.
Really? Not many? Then exactly how many?
You really... you know.
Okay, they're too good at this. What? They're too good at this. Let's add a little bit of complexity. So anything you say now...
Welcome periodically!
It's also St. Patrick's Day, and this is a time to have fun. The little Irish people have...
It's a time to be sad and remember what the English did to us.
So I believe... Okay, no S's. Any words with... If you unless you get a free pass if there's an S on the slide. But the words now, you can't say words with S's in. Okay, pick it up.
Really? Andrew told me on Monday that we would make a large animal.
Completely wrong.
Okay, new scene.
Still no S's.
No, we'll reset for different players.
Scottish accents.
Yeah, Scottish accents. Come on, both of you off. Two more.
Papa. Animals are my favourite.
Understandably, aye, they are.
North Paisley?
Perhaps under the table we'll find your little animal to take home.
Animals? Mine? All of them? Oh, I can't wait.
Calm, Michael, calm down. You know what we can find.
Boy, knowing that you're here and I'm here, what are we gonna do?
Celia, for Pete's sake, calm down. I know it's me.
Even still here, I can't think about how we're gonna get out of this place.
Fuck my life.
My dad said when I get out of here, he'll buy me a pony. Do you think he'll mean it?
Very well.
Larry! Larry! Right now, I want you to show me your interpretive dance.
Right, flamingo.
Don't behave weirdly!
So God told me I could behave weirdly, so I will.
Bloody hell! That took ages to happen!
How sensible you are with all your information.
Many thousands of postdoctoral students have said that to me.
Dillian, so many people have walked through these doors the past years between you and me, literally and metaphorically.
Can't. Oh, fuck!
Thank you. This next game we're going to have is called Two-Headed Experts. So for this one we're going to have two people. Just read the cast list off because I was otherwise engaged. We have got Chris, Seamus, John, and Weiju for this game. And in this, we're going to have a debate to answer some of these really deep scientific questions that some of you filled out before the show. And the goal here is to have each of these representing a single entity with two heads that speak one word at a time.
They're two heads, not two bodies.
Two bodies. Well, no,
I was becoming bonding with
it
you.
does help if you merge. Okay, so what we will need from this expert over here is your name, please. Could I have your name?
I am Professor Don Quixote.
Professor Don Quixote, and we have here on my right.
I am Professor
Don
Oxotic.
Oh, okay. So the first question that we are going to want to have a very deep answer for is, what is in a fart?
I
know
the
answer
to
this
one.
It
is
very
convoluted
explanation.
It
starts
with
the
area
of
the
intestines
and
continues
to
the
cavity
below
the
belt.
I'm not really
sure
that
is
the
correct
answer.
Oh
My
God!
could
You
ever
be
wronger
than
this. In the actual cavity, there are
sphincters
and
space
and
gas
with
smells
plus
chemicals
beside
other
large
solids.
Okay, thank you. We'll have to peer review that answer a bit later. Let's have another question for our learned experts. So, is there a future for light-loaded hydrocarbons? Right-handed hydrocarbons.
well, curious people
Would
often
mistake
left-handed
handed
hydrocarbons
for
right-handed
handed,
hydrocarbons.
but
This
is
are
fallacy.
because
They
won't
go
to
the
left
or
right
by
signaling
themselves
with
their hands
their faces which turn
on
their
axes.
continually.
Unfortunately,
That
is
total
completely
utter
rubbish.
full
Shit.
Dare you!
Don't you know
I
am
correct.
Well, no, I
Don't
know
that
at
all
the
way you talk
is
rubbish.
may
Be
that
is
correct,
but
I
will
not
tolerate
this.
smut. I
think
you
are
a
weirdo.
You
talk
beautifully.
stilted.
Hey, ladies, please. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. That was certainly reaching out those handbags at dawn, I think, there. Okay, so our next scenario, we're going to introduce you to some very sophisticated cyborgs that we have been putting a lot of money into. We have cyborg Alex and cyborg Seamus, and they need some help getting up onto the stage. The battery life on these guys is a little bit on the short side. We spent all of our money investing in the AI that powers these guys, but unfortunately we've left very little budget for them to be able to move themselves. So we're actually going to need some help in this next scene as they run through their programming. We need a couple of audience volunteers to help position our cyborgs during their conversation. So a couple of volunteers, please. You get to touch these lovely specimens of machinery here. And I'm not seeing many hands going up back there. Sorry. We'll have to use the players, and they're very harsh.
Oh, we got one in the back.
One at the back, so there's one volunteer at the back, thank you very much. And do we have another brave volunteer? Your name is? John. You can go with, I'm just thinking, how should we do this? Seamus. And one more, and Martin for Alex.
Oh dear.
Okay. And so they can converse on any topic you like. So could we have a topic that two very deep-minded cyborgs with amazing artificial intelligence could discuss? I'm sorry? The Big Bang Theory. So Seamus and Alex will be animatedly discussing their views on the Big Bang Theory with the assistance of John and Martin, positioning them during the game.
And I think whatever we do, if you just touch our arms or hit it in that place, if you want us to walk forward, just touch us to the back of the legs.
You want to play with his neck?
Yeah, you can move the neck slowly, and when it stops moving, that's probably a good place to end.
Indeed, what possibly could go wrong? So, gentlemen, let's discuss.
Michael.
Johnson.
It's huge. It's just, I can't get over how big it is.
I know. It's quite big, isn't it?
Like, it's blowing me away. I want to find out more. I want to know what was inside it before it happened. But I want to hold it as well.
We can hold it together.
Can we?
Yes!
But it's going to be such a high density.
I know it will, but look at me.
I'm not going to look at you.
Look at me.
No.
Look at me.
Christ, I can see infinity in your eyes.
I know, and I can see to the stars and back.
Let me get this whiskey.
Let's do it together.
All right. Tell me.
Yes.
Tell me why you haven't spoken to me for this long. It's been years.
I will whisper into your ear why.
No, I don't want to hear. You left me when the research grant gave out. I was doing amazing work.
I had to leave you.
Why?
I found another.
Oh, you would say that. Was it Hawking?
No, it was someone with a lot of movability.
Oh, you bring that up now!
I'm just saying.
And your love of maneuverability!
Just show me how you run again. Show me how you run.
I'll show you how I run. Look how I run. Look how I run.
I miss the days we chased each other.
Don't Hawkins do this? I'm going to... Do you remember when we were in Oxford together? Right into the wall, I don't care.
I remember when you were just a little robot.
And it saddens me, I'm ashamed.
I haven't had physical contact in 3 years. I just want to
I
hug.
want to give you physical contact.
Just hug me.
I'm afraid. Because I'm not human.
Neither am I.
We could be together.
We can make it. We've got enough body parts of a human to make one between us.
Are we talking about doing something together or building something?
Building something. Use my arms, your legs. We could make a human, sort of.
Whose face should we use?
Both.
Both faces? I rather yours.
I know you rather mine, but the world can't live with only one of mine. Let's see.
Amazing! Okay, we'll have to apply for another grant, I think, to fix these guys. Okay, for our next game, this is a presentation that we are going to give you on a science topic, which we will draw from the question list. And in this, we're going to have Professor Chris present some slides that he has prepared. But you left them on the bus again, didn't you? Okay. Chris left his slides on the bus. But fortunately, we have the other players able to assist us in preparing the slides, in miming and posing the slides that he had prepared. So if we have you four guys and Alex up as well. So the way this one works is that Chris will begin his talk, and the topic of your presentation is...
So, good evening. I am...
sorry, it is the relationship between string theory and the
Kantian thought
And the
process.
Kantian
Yes,
thought
that's
process.
exactly what it was. It was on the first slide.
Oh, I'm so
sorry, Chris.
Okay.
So, what are the differences, and indeed, what are the similarities between string theory and the Kantian thought process? Now, I've spent a lot of time thinking about Kant. Get your mind out of the gutter, young man. I spent a lot of time thinking about can't. Indeed, I spent a lot of time thinking about won't was my joke. And indeed, how Kant and the way that he thought about ethics and morality relates to string theory. So as you can see in my first slide, this is exactly what Kant was picturing when first considering strings. As you can see, Kant, the explorer of rights-based morality, is looking to the future, looking towards how we can put together our lives, not only with string, but with sticky tape. Above we have the Jeremy Bentham standing on the shoulder of giants, but the utilitarian here is kind of losing his way. And over here, the early physicists or natural scientists. We have Robert Hooke, definitely feeling the pain from Isaac Newton's jealousy of his profligate research. And here we have an alchemist of the day, drinking his own potion as his job was taken away from him. In this next slide, what we can see is how Kant's theories of strings started to influence how he thought about others. So in fact, what we have here is the right to privacy. We have the right to that which is agreed. We have the right to liberty. And Kant here is now feeling the pain much in the way that Robert Hooke did from Sir Isaac Newton, from Jeremy Bentham, still counting the number of ways in which this is actually providing good to the system. In our final slide, we can see how the theories come together, how we can connect the rights of man to each other and bring everyone together in one harmonious theorem. How did that get in there? I'm terribly sorry. No, this slide this slide was from my vacation. We had done a lot of drinking, and indeed, next slide. Finally, how string theory comes together and proves that man can live with man. Here you can see Kant has invented contemporary dance, and as a result has communicated to Robert Hooke of his time the beauty and power of strings, and indeed the connected thread of the idea can be communicated towards Bentham getting his comeuppance with the alchemist, and indeed Sir Isaac Newton discovering how strings can prevent gravity from controlling all of our lives. Thank you very much.
That was absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Professor Chris. Well, it's another practical time for you all now. We have another very expensive piece of equipment that we want to test out, and I'm going to ask Wei Zhu and John to go to the operator's booth to prepare to use the equipment. We're going to need a couple of audience members to help test the equipment out. Don't worry, it's not painful. It's not embarrassing much to help us out, so we'd like a couple of people just sit down, drink coffee, read the paper, just really just a sort of an everyday, boring, mundane scene. So a couple of you wouldn't mind just joining me, otherwise I'll volunteer for people.
We have somebody in
there. Thank you very much. And your name is?
Mary.
Mary. So we have Mary to just grab one of these seats. And we have anyone else who'd like to join us? Carl, would you? Oh, can I take your name? Adrian, you'd like to join Mary. So in this scene, we just want you guys to just do very simple everyday activities. Don't need to talk, just maybe read the paper, drink a coffee, whatever, and then we will then, in a short moment, turn on our new experiment, which is actually reading your thoughts. And our machine will interpret what you're thinking, even if you don't know you're thinking it yourself. It will be amazing. So be prepared for an interesting ride. So, are we all ready in the booth?
I'm just trying to turn it on now.
Just try to turn it on now. Do you want a hand with that?
No, it's fine, thank you.
That's good. Okay, so if you just get on with your activities, at some point the experiment will kick in.
I hope no one else noticed I've actually got a pencil behind my ear.
Oh, that Mary, what's she doing again?
Oh, I like Razzle.
No, Mary, you can't marry again.
Oh, this teacup's tiny.
Mary, think about what you're doing. You're squandering your fortune.
If I cut up vegetables into animal shapes, would vegetarians still eat them?
I wonder who this guy next to me is.
Hello, sexy.
Nah, not my type.
Ooh, third down, it's a banana hammock.
Oh, he is rather clever though. Oh, I like his pencil.
I wonder if she's got a pencil.
Oh no, what have I done? I don't know. Oh well, another chance.
Ooh, Debbie from Swansea.
Oh, he's looking my way. Oh no. Have to play coy here. Oh, he's interested. Maybe we can do the Sudoku together.
Oh, thank you very much. Wow. Mary and Adrian, thank you. What fantastic improvisers. You should come and join our team. Okay, so we have our next game is called Natural Selection. And this involves 4 players. So if I have 4 players up and we need someone to direct the action, this is our story die. Okay, so we have. Do you want to?
Okay.
So in this game, we're going to have a thesis, a story of a
Thesis.
thesis.
That was right behind it. I was thinking, that's not good.
A presentation again drawn from our list of questions. And we're going to have the hive mind of our 4 players give a presentation on that topic. And the ways you will direct the action, so whoever he is pointing to is talking. The minute he points his finger to another player, that person has to pick up without hesitation, deviation, repetition, etc., exactly where that person was.
Honestly, without repetition?
Without any break in the word. So if it's in the middle of a word, that word has to be completed without any distinguishable gaps. Otherwise, we have the Heisenberg uncertainty explosion. And if anyone spots any deviation or hesitation, we have to hear from you guys. Heisenberg! Okay? And that player then has to leave the scene, but in quite a spectacular way. They choose a method of their own demise. Sorry, they ask you for a method of their own demise, which they must then enact. They will die in front of your eyes. And the last person left will then give us the summary of the moral of the story. So, we will take from our hat of questions. No, that's a very simple one. It's a maths question, 12 plus 17. That would be quite a
philosophical theme too.
I was going to try and give a wrong answer.
Why didn't I get the job to press the red button at CERN? Why didn't I get the job to press the red button at CERN? Where's you? Take it away.
There are many reasons why you didn't get a job at pressing the red button.
At CERN, but we're really to find the true reason we must go
back to the story when you first got drunk at work, when you really thought you were a parrot flying around.
The houses. Now, the houses were shaped in a ring shape, much like at CERN with the
Large Hadron Collider.
That is really large!
larger than Brian Cox's.
You were very red and you were very loud, and all you kept doing was repetitioning my words.
Again and again and again. You.
There you
Come on,
were.
guys. Hold on a minute. They're fumbling and stumbling all over the place. Wake up and say Heisenberg. Okay, so let's try. I know you
I was distracted by the fly.
You dodged a few bullets there, guys. Okay, so audience, pay close attention. If any fumbling or mistakes, Heisenberg. Okay, take it away.
The problem that you found when you went to go and join the Large Hadron Collider in order to press the red button was you were colorblind.
And this is not a good thing to have in CERN. You need.
Because you kept pressing the yellow button, which kept...
Janie! The audience have the option now to give you an inventive way. You ask for a suggestion and you must enact your death with that suggestion.
So how should Janie die?
Hadron Collider.
He must die, he must mine out a death by Hadron Collider.
Okay, so for the next part of this, we will have a new question that the guys need to...
I've exhausted my
enact.
physics then.
And the question is, are we alone in the universe?
Are we alone in the universe?
The answer is no, isn't it? Can't you see within your
Grasp that we are not alone. There
are many beings
out there that are willing
to meet us on the field
of battle. We will fight them on the beaches, and we will fight them
in the skies and through the vacuum
of space, and especially on the moon,
where it's really bouncy
and it's flat and horrible.
The people.
Right.
What's
Yo-yo.
Stabbed by a ghost.
Yo-yo.
Stabbed by a ghost.
Not like a ghost.
Stabbed by a ghost. Okay. A ghost goat. Stabbed by a ghost goat. Use your mind. No, don't.
The pace of change is going to be a lot faster now in this one. Are you ready? What's the name of the first planet in the galaxy? Third left after Mars?
Third left after. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, fine.
Okay, make of that what you will.
Simon is the name of that planet.
In the third galaxy from Mars.
Third left from it, you would.
Sorry to say, it's an orange kind of planet. How would you like me to die?
Big feet. Sledgehammer.
Big feet? Yes. Or sledgehammer?
Science. By using science, meld those.
My feet are so big they're like sledgehammers. Whoa! Fuck!
Okay.
Big red button. I had to sum all this up.
Big red button.
Big red is concerned. What's the name of the last thing? And what's it?
It was the galaxy.
Guys, it was Simon.
Are we alone in the
universe?
Alone in the universe.
Looking back through my career, I've now realised that the reason why, when I was in Didcot and then moving towards Europe, that they did not let me touch that big red button in service because I knew there were beings beyond this world.
Without
And they
S's.
came from a planet that lived the third place from the left, from the third planet in this.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Before we play our last game before the break, so thank you to Jeremy for the incidental music. So, well done, Jeremy. I'd like to use this one to help set the pace, fast or slow, of the activity in this final game before the break. And this is a game called Stand, Sit, Lie Down. Okay, and this is going to be Alex, Seamus, and Caitlin. And in this scene, one of you must be standing at all times, one of you must be sitting, and one of you must be lying down. And if one of you shifts, the rest of the scene has to shift. If you see any infringement, again, any uncertainty, Heisenberg, so that forces the players to pay attention to what they're doing. And Jeremy's pace will help decide the pace at which the action moves. And we have another question which we'd like you to enact, or another scene to enact in this one, and that is, what is the opposite of a brain? Well, I think you've seen it tonight, to be perfectly honest. But give it a go.
Michael, I can't feel or think anything. I just am aware.
Peter, I completely understand that. I really do.
But what does that mean, Michael?
There's just something about it. There's something about life, there's something more, but I can't seem to figure it out.
Well, what we must do is we must think. Instead of using vertically, we must think laterally.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Well, if we go on the same level, we can find a better plan.
Michael, tell us how do we think without a brain? You've been doing research on this for at least 5 years.
I have to say,
if not 10.
I'm exhausted after all this research, to be honest with you, and my funding is run out, my findings...
Well, just lie down.
We need to start making some decisions here. Otherwise, we're going to lose our PhDs. We're going to lose the grant from the EU. We're going to lose everything.
It's all over!
What?
It's over!
What do you mean, Michael? Tell me.
I haven't spoken for a while. I'm not included in this conversation.
You're here!
Should I leave?
No, please!
Stay with
I think what we need to do is think of it as a new angle. Flip back over, that was fun.
Alright. No. Michael, you brought us here to do this research. You're the expert.
It's true. I'm sorry. I'm losing faith. I'm losing faith in the project, guys.
Is that it?
It is it.
Faith. This is about something more than the intellect. This is about belief.
God, this. Oh, yeah.
That's what I... Stop it! Moving through time. That's what we're doing.
We can't just move forward, we have to move backward.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
know!
That's fascinating. What do you think about this, Michael, with your long hair and your eyeliner?
Guys, I think you've sorted it out without even needing me.
So we're going to change the pace a bit for the second half of this show. Whereas we had direction coming from you guys, you were steering the action, you were punishing our players, and obviously rewarding them as well. And you liked it. This is going to be a slightly different one. We're going to have in a moment a presentation on a serious science topic, which will be the basis for the inspiration of an improvised story, a quest, if you like. What?
A musical.
With possibly some music.
Playing it. As long as they don't say anything. I'm fine.
And we might get some bad behaviour from the players. It's quite common. We might get the odd, suggestion that that phrase that was just uttered, that sounded a bit like a song, for example, and we might spontaneously burst into song. We'll see what happens. Anything can go. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to clear the stage and I'm going to welcome up Tom Sizmur, who's a science communicator from, I think it's University of Reading, isn't it?
It is.
And we're going to get a short talk from Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Martin already knows, because I just told him, I'm a lecturer at the University of Reading, I'm an environmental scientist, and so what I'm going to do now is explain a very simple kind of ecological concept, and then these guys are going to kind of act it out and do some improv. So the ecological concept that I'm going to explain is the relationship between biodiversity and ecosystem function. The way it works essentially is that more biodiverse ecosystems are generally more productive ecosystems, and they tend to have more resilience against extreme events. So for example, if you have a grassland where you've got just a single species of plants, and that's usually less productive than a grassland where you've got lots of different species all in a mix together. And then when you have some kind of extreme event, that could be an outbreak of pest or disease, or it could be a flooding event, or it could be a drought or something like that, then one of those species within that mix is likely to be able to survive that event and still maintain the productivity of the system. So that's kind of how the relationship between biodiversity and ecosystem function works. And the best way to kind of explain it a bit deeper is to kind of use an analogy. And the analogy that I like to use is a bit like a pub quiz team. Now on a pub quiz team, you don't necessarily want all of the people on the team to have exactly the same knowledge. So if you have a pub quiz team completely full of theoretical physicists or something, then when a question comes up that's outside of the field, then they're unable to answer it perhaps. But if you've got a quiz team that's got like a historian or an ecologist, somebody with an expertise in literature or medicine or engineering or anything like that, then it means that any kind of questions that come up, they're able to have one person within that team that can answer the question. At the same time, every time they have the big theoretical physics conference that might be somewhere in the world, if all the theoretical physicists up sticks and leave and go to that conference, then you can't participate in your pub quiz at all. And so it's a similar thing that goes on in ecosystems. But I like to study this particular phenomena in a certain ecosystem, and the ecosystem that I get excited about is soil. Now I know it's a little bit boring and dry to some people, but the reason why I'm interested in soil and why soil is a little bit different to most of the ecosystems is that soil has got several orders of magnitude greater diversity than most above ground ecosystems. So many people might think that rainforests, for example, might be the most diverse places in the world. In fact, it's probably your back garden, the soil underneath your feet. So in any gram of soil, you might find 10,000 different species of bacteria. You perhaps find 250,000 different organisms. You might find several kilometers of fungal hyphae. And that's not to mention things like protozoa, collembola, mites, earthworms, and all the rest of it. So soil is an incredibly diverse environment, and it's teeming with life. However, when you've got that huge diversity, you tend to get several species that can all perform the same function. So if that function is to degrade a particular pesticide or to make nitrogen available to a plant to help it grow, then there are usually several species that can all perform that same function, and you get what's called functional redundancy. And this is a little bit how I feel when I'm on a pub quiz team, because any question that tends to come up, that I might know a few answers, but it tends to be the case that I know the answers that the other people in the team also know, and so I have to wait until they're off on their conferences or off on holiday before I can actually perform that function, if you like. And so what my research and my research group does at the University of Reading is try to figure out, A, how far can we abuse soils before they really will stop performing these functions. So we look at things like pollution, we look at things like climate change, we look at things like abusing soil and planting monocultures and trying to get as much food out of the ground as possible to try and work out at what point does the soil kind of stop working for us. and how much is that a problem for society? And at the same time, what can we do in order to try and increase the function of the soil and do stuff in order to help prevent it from going off that cliff and stop performing a function? So at that point, I think I'll finish talking now and hand over to Dave.
So there's a lot of stuff to work with here. What we're going to do is begin the story by starting out with a couple of our heroes. These are all going to be improvised from what we've just heard, who are going to go on a quest, but they start out somewhere, which is particularly unrelated to what we've just heard. So could I have a suggestion for a location which has nothing to do with forests or fields or anything like that, where our heroes... Sainsbury's supermarket, we've heard. In fact, we can take some of these, you guys can incorporate them in as you go. So we had Slough, we had supermarket.
Every time.
And did I hear another one over here? A black hole. And one more?
Tents.
And a pub. And a pub restaurant. Okay? So, without further ado, we present our show. Scene 1. Our heroes begin the search for their quest.
Jonathan? Are we going for Campbell's? Or are we going to just go for like Knorr?
Are we talking about soup again?
Yeah, well it's Tuesday, why would you talk about anything else?
Well, I thought, Soup Tuesday was a thing of the past.
What do you mean? You getting tired of Soup Tuesday?
Well, I didn't want to say it to you.
Terry, what's happening?
I'm sorry, I just think, soup once a week gets boring.
But that's what we do. We do Soup Tuesday, we got table quiz on Wednesday. We use Tuesday just to bone up on what we're going to go through. That's how we win!
Let's address the real problem here.
What?
The quiz.
What? Why is the quiz a problem, Derek? Oh shit! Sorry. Sorry, love.
Okay. The quiz is a problem because we're both physicists. We both know exactly the same thing.
You're a physicist. I'm just a postgrad. You've got PhD, and I could never do it. And how I feel. Look, what is it?
I think you need to study a different field. That way we'll have some advantage over the quiz night.
What? No! Look, we both do physics. That's how we win everything.
You know what? It sounds as if you're lacking in diversity.
What do you mean?
Well, you're both theoretical physicists.
Yeah. Well, he's a doctor. I'm
all right, 1.5 theoretical physicists. A third, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But what you really need is some applied physicists.
Where in Sainsbury's and Slough will we find an applied physicist? Is he behind? I don't know how to find an applied physicist.
Well, I wasn't always a cleaner,
Were you not, Jeremy?
No. No. I used to be a rocket scientist. I could talk to you all day about apogees and perigees. I could talk to you all day about escape velocities.
Go on then.
Well, I'll start.
Please do. Wait. This could be it. Not only do we have a rocket scientist, we may have another friend.
Flashback to Jeremy's rocket ship days circling the black hole.
I'm so alone!
What about me?
You don't count. I'm so alone! I'll put it into autopilot. The autopilot likes me. Hello?
Hello.
Can you just fly us around like 3 times and I'll take the controls back?
Si, senor.
Thank you. I don't know why they sent a rocket scientist to fly a rocket. It's a really bad idea.
Don't you see the black hole over there?
There is a black hole over there.
No! I can only see the absence of light in the circular section. It's as if there's an edge, a horizon of things happening, maybe events. An event horizon.
Jeremy, are we going to die?
No. Well, yes, but very slowly. And our feet are going to get long first, and then our legs, and then our stomachs. So we're just going to be turning into strings. But it'll be fun, I promise.
No, it will not.
No?
Flash forward, flash forward, flash forward.
Sounds like really cool.
Okay, so 5 people are needed for the quiz night.
I know, and it's just been us 2 for so long.
That's why we've been losing.
I know, but you've got all the physics, and I've got physics and D&D.
Okay, the D&D hasn't helped so far. I know, one day.
I know, but I'm waiting for that one question.
And what's the question?
Well, that question is about, in the 3rd volume of Rules of D&D, who is the guardian of Uzgoroth?
Meanwhile, on the other side of Sainsbury's, the champion pub quiz team is doing its shopping.
Spinach, we need brain food. Deirdre, we need brain food.
Everyone knows that it's kale.
Kale is a myth. That's it, it's true. Kale does not exist only in your mind. It does not exist anywhere. It is made up by the government.
It's like we've never met before.
Oh, I'm Derek.
Yeah, no, I get that, Derek. But yesterday you loved kale.
No, I did not like kale. I like spinach. Oh no, yes I did. Yes, yes. Kale was good. Yes, but I read a magazine in the magazine of the Science magazine, and inside the Science magazine it said, kale. What is it good for? Huh, absolutely nothing. Say it again, brother.
Kale! Huh. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. You're always making me sing these songs, man.
I like songs.
If we just get spinach, can we continue shopping?
Yes, but we also need muesli.
Fine, we need muesli.
Yes, more brain food. We also need to get cheese. It's not brain food, I just quite like cheese.
Meanwhile, in the rainforest,
Oh, this is nothing, you know. Beautiful pond, you know, fruits, vines hang down, snakes and parrots. Wow. Vicious monkeys. This is interesting. It seems to be lowering the diversity of the place. It's eating all the other animals in the area. Oh, wow. Oh no! He spotted me! I'm fearful for my life! Oh wow, this is an intelligent ape! I wonder, we must study, we must learn, and we must understand what is going on in its brain. Hey! That's right!
Diane, stop messing about with the primates.
Charles?
No, look.
So this is groundbreaking stuff?
Yes, but every time we're supposed to go to dinner, you go wandering off into the mist.
I can't help it, you know, it's the rainforest.
Yeah, but we were supposed to have that meal tonight, and instead, you're just running off with someone hairier than me.
Can't argue with that!
To be fair, I'd like to see where this is going.
It's very scientific and interesting. We should take photos. You know, the scientific community behind us, they wouldn't know a thing. This is
Meanwhile, Super Tuesday has arrived.
I must find the perfect temperature. And please, could you step away from the sword of Thoron?
It's a ladle.
He's ruining everything!
He plays D&D, he likes naming things, leave him alone.
Sword of Thoron!
Okay.
That's the sword of Thoron.
Okay.
This is the saucepan of Anarok. And this is the heating fires of the Dargon of Beelzebub.
Look, just tolerate him for a while, he gets better.
Who's bubbling? Who wants toast?
I'm really reconsidering being on this quiz team. He has very specialised knowledge, and that's great, but it doesn't mesh with anyone else's.
Minestrone
of
Benton!
You lost me there.
Jonathan, please, you need to keep taking your medication. This isn't helping anyone.
Look! Please, don't disregard me for my hobbies. I love D&D and I like maths.
So, you like maths?
Yes.
What's your thesis?
Okay. Yes. Oh, some of us have PhDs, and some of us have been to a black hole, and some of us just found it a bit difficult and a bit anxious to have the big looming monolith of a thesis, and maybe we backed out and have deferred it for a while.
So you're more post than graduate? Okay. Well, you know, maybe you can just remind me about Super Tuesday. He'll be happy then. So we have theoretical physicist. We have an applied physicist. We have whatever that is. Eric. Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan. That's his last name. Okay. Then Jonathan Eric. And do any of us watch Coronation Street?
Nope. Not me, I don't know about.
Meanwhile, we attend a lecture from Derek and Deirdre of their newly discovered primate, the intelligent primate, as yet unnamed.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to see us tonight. We have a remaining...
Stop. Don't provoke it. Him. Don't provoke him.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a new species of primate that we've just discovered in the jungles of Borneo. It's clearly highly intelligent. It knows how to fling poo. We thought that it was something that we should bring back to study. The ways that it can communicate with its peers is absolutely fascinating.
Helium! Hell? Helium still?
Hell? Is that a thing?
Help
I don't know what that means.
I hope this isn't a long word. Wow. He knew how to spell and then forgot.
Signature!
Yes. So, the most intelligent primate we've ever found, and indeed, we were only there to look for soil in the first place, weren't we, Tyler?
Well, it was a beautiful banquet, wasn't it?
Yes, and then you abandoned me for the monkey.
Because it was hairier.
We now switch to a head-to-head pub quiz match between the champions and the pretenders.
Okay, question number 17. What is mitosis?
It's actually...
Okay, it's a pub quiz team. You write this down.
Can't bring your own buzzer! Our survey says... Such a loser. Where did you get that?
Okay, I find...
What, the girl? I don't know. I've never been able to have one before here.
Well, there's still time.
And there's not, so isn't.
Okay, question 18. What football team does Ronaldo play for?
What?
Got
size of a dwarf. That
Okay, now I'm going to ask one question to each team. Question number 1 for your team. What is pi to 3 decimal places?
3.14.
Thank you. Right, and to your team, what is my favourite colour? No, wait. 3, 2, 1. Unfortunately, no.
Mauve.
Yes, it was mauve. Question 2. What is the stasis of Newton's 15th law?
Present.
Thank you. And what is my inside leg measurement?
Oscaroth, the barbarian of Eldobar!
Incorrect. It's 93.5.
I thought that was...
No! Not every question is D&D related. You've got to get this out of your head.
Okay, this one, no conferring. You okay?
We're waiting, Quizmaster.
Oh, sorry.
I'm wearing my face guard.
Okay. What is involved in wearing a face guard?
It's D&D.
What's your answer? Outside, what's your answer?
American hockey.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, back of the net.
Okay, and this one's a picture round.
We
Yes,
now
it is.
fast forward to later that evening when the losing quiz team are having a crisis meeting.
We have to get rid of him.
I do not agree more.
He is functionally redundant. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I don't want to panic anybody, but there is a woman in the room.
That'd be me.
I know this is kind of weird, guys, but
Breast! I'm so sorry.
I'll cover them for you.
Just put on your visor.
That just accentuates
Pretend she's wearing heavy armour, it'll be fine. Carry on.
I've come to join your team, guys. If you'll have me. We've been arguing a lot. It's kale versus spinach. I'm hardcore on kale right
Spinach!
now. I'm on the fucking bandwagon.
But they're both heavily loaded with iron.
But that's what I said.
But the teams can only be 3 people. I know, like, who would leave?
Yeah, Jonathan. Well, you're in the team.
I can see one!
You're gone.
So what is this? Some kind of multiple redundancy?
It's a potion of disappearing for you. Yeah, you're gone. Yeah, that cloak of it. Where's he gone?
Oh, where could he be? I don't know.
Oh, we miss him, but we'll carry on.
Jonathan, wherever you be, no, you will always be a D&D master.
We now see a walk of shame as Jonathan walks past every person who has done him wrong through his life. If they make him laugh, he has to start all over again. Every player is in this scene.
Jonathan, your mother and father are really disappointed in you. You were never a good son to us, son. Jonathan, you only ever spent your time playing D&D. How bad again? Jonathan, me and your mother are very disappointed in you. You only got 3 GCSEs and only 1 in physics. Stop, shut up, weird Scottish mother. There's no need to insult your father.
Jonathan, do you remember Christmas? Do you remember your Christmas presents?
Yes, I do. It was a foam sword made out of steel. I killed 3 kids with it. When I injured 2, the 1 died later. That wasn't even funny. It was just really tragic.
I don't like you,
Who does?
but I like your body.
Jonathan, your mother and father are back here again. Hello, we're back. And which one of you is my mother and which one's the father? I don't know. Obviously your mother. And I'm obviously your father. Of course you are. You're so reminiscent of both of them. Just because father, you're weird tits.
And so the nightmare continues. We leave Jonathan in his nightmare, whilst we now return to the now two-man losing quiz team who are have open auditions for a third member.
If only there was a third member of our team who volunteered to join us and we kicked out the third member of our team.
I'll join.
Quizmaster.
Yeah, I was watching your entire conversation last time and no one really talked to me.
Do you know what an amazing advantage this will be? To know the questions before.
To know his preferences before. What's your outside leg?
Ironically, it's 31. I know.
I thought you limped funnily.
Funnily?
Funnily.
I know.
It's a limp.
Let me be part of your team. I have no friends. Hello.
Hi.
You were attractive and now you're crying.
I know we're picking you over me.
Oh, this is awkward.
We have to be fair about this.
Yes.
I think we should ask them. We should ask them questions. One
I
minute.
was going to say, but yeah, that's fine too.
My boss says it's a 34. It's way better than his 33 leg.
No, they're not 34.
Yeah.
First, and we now take a time out to hear from our female improvisers to learn why they find it so difficult to work with these guys.
I find it hard to work with these guys.
I'm a feminist, you see, and I think these males just think they're better than me. What do you think, Sarah?
My somewhat attractive nature is all that I have, really. I have a bit of wit, some clever answers now and then, but I mean, my boobs aren't really even that big, but if you play them up enough, you kind of let it slide.
If you put us together, they may be big enough.
No, we can't! We can't. We're worth more than that.
That sounds like a song.
Take it away.
We are worth more than that, said our mother who told us that. We are worth more than that, better than their favorite cat,
Better than any old street rat.
better than Donald Trump.
That's true. Because he doesn't really like us either. We're worth more than that.
We're worth more than that.
Together.
We're worth more than that. We're worth more than that.
And so a new all-female quiz team is born. They now go for their third member, who they hear there's a clever primate in town.
Ampersand!
Why is no one seeing this right now?
Ampersand!
What?
Ampersand! D! Ampersand!
Hello there.
I like to compound here. Can you hear me? Girls, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
What I'm trying to say is ampersand. That's ampersand.
Does that mean you want to join us?
Yes,
You wanna
that's
be
right.
part of our team?
Me, you, and the one with the hat. Yes, I want to join your team.
You'll be our ampersand! Yes!
Well, I'd rather become your gorilla. But look, I am really intelligent. Ask me a maths question, but make it simple because it's me talking.
Alright.
5 times 10 times a million squared by 500.
Don't worry your pretty little face about it. But I do know that the film Back to the Future came out in 1985.
God damn, he's good.
Very good.
He's exactly what we've needed. And he hasn't said one thing about anything that we look like! Anything attached to us!
I do not find you attractive at all.
Oh my god! Perfect! I'm sorry, okay. We're not, okay, no.
Whoa, easy tiger. You're not tigers, are you? 'Cause I'm generally afraid. Oh, Jesus! Oh. That's monkey Jesus.
We might have to, teach him a little.
Yeah, like writing, maybe.
Reel it in a bit.
Teach me. I can teach you.
I'm open to that too, absolutely.
Cool.
Please, tell me, okay.
What do you know?
There once was an ugly duckling. And I ate it.
Enlightenment. Truly enlightenment.
No, I just ate it.
Why did you do such a thing?
I hate fairy tales.
Well, that's good because it's not on puppets. So there we go. There we go.
I love sausages.
Meanwhile, in the strategy room for our champion quiz team, they're getting a bit complacent about their run of wins.
We've been doing so well, and it's because we increased our diversity with knowledge.
That's a good point. I mean, the quiz master knows everything, so, we asked to a redundant.
Yes, but redundant.
Was that the right word?
Yes. Unfortunately, it was accurate. We're the functionally redundant ones now.
Yes, you are.
Quick, let's ask him a question and check.
Why did my physics teacher fail my exam?
Because you're shit!
I have a PhD!
Yes, so do I! But in different aspects.
Why do men have nipples?
Because I once lactated and fed a baby cow.
He's good.
He's too good.
Here's a really hard...
No! Monkey man!
No, his eye! Derek? Men saying Jonathan! It is I, Jonathan!
Sorry, you look the same.
I know! With different characters played by the same actor! But I must say, no! Men have nipples because the X chromosome changes to a Y chromosome later in the developmental process. After the nipples have been developed. In the beginning, all fetuses are female, and it is later on that they become male. Hence, we still retain the nipples that would be needed for...
Fast forward to the end of his explanation.
And that's why she never got me Space Quest.
That's true, but so is my nipple story. I did feed a baby cow.
To be fair, I don't think it's accurate, but it sounds plausible, and that's good enough for a quiz.
The beginning bit was real, I'm sure.
Yes! Sure. Jonathan.
Are you going to use me or not? Am I going to have to take all of you down together?
Quizmaster,
Seth?
I challenge you to a game.
What game?
You choose.
We now see the showdown to end all showdowns. Quizmaster versus...
Derek?
I'm trying to think, is it Seth?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen versus the Quizmaster, with other D&D characters played by members of the cast.
I'm obviously going to start with a rogue dwarf, it's my piece.
Ah, classic.
And they talk as well.
Well, I'm using a chaotic good wood elf.
I suspected as much.
Natural 20. That's double damage.
Use your potion of Escobath. It repels all elvish magic.
Don't forget you get the double bonus on a D3.
Elven potion.
Does this mean anything to anybody in the room?
Yes. Elven potion of Escobabbage.
Kebab, eh?
That's what I meant.
My God!
And to roll on the... Oh, we got it. Oh, the dwarves run off. Okay, well. As you can see, I've clearly won.
Yeah. But, you know what this means? We have to fight each other. Hand to hand. As God intended, through song.
The only way we can fight through song is in the best accent of all.
Scottish?
Indeed it is!
The next scene is an incredible slow-mo battle done with Scottish song in a Braveheart fashion.
You stand there, you little weedy, with a kill ya, like Cheryl Tweedy. I kill ya with my sword, while everyone looks on board. Fuck, it's the Irish! I won. That didn't take long. Oh, fuck! Cast magic missiles!
Aye!
Oh, fuck!
Used an elf potion.
You stand there, you little kid, but everyone knows I'm the whiz, the team master, the battle of spells, and everyone knows you're going down well. Aye, well.
Aye there, you man at all. Can you not see you've got no balls? I'm a man that'll gut you good. I'm a man that'll eat you for food.
Your glass is steaming, your glass is mine, but everyone knows you are divine. I love you all with my heart. Come back to mine, be my wench's tart.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye. The laugh in my face is not very nice. Everyone knows I'm gonna beat you twice. I roll a D20 and maybe a D3, and everyone knows you ain't gonna see me smoke one.
And Seth has defeated the Quizmaster. Now,
Of course I
we now have our ultimate scene with the newly reformed champion quiz team taking on the new all-female and all-monkey contenders to see who is the reigning pub quiz champion.
If only we had a quiz master with some questions.
Hi guys!
Oh, thanks for coming back. It's amazing.
We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm here too. Don't forget, I'm the monkey.
Okay. Question 1. If I had children with Brian Cox, what would they look like?
They would.
The monkey!
Okay, that's your
The
one.
Cheshire Cat!
Correct, they would look like the Cheshire Cat. Question number 2. No, that was it, that was part of did the Martians... Did Mars have an ocean?
Yes.
Does Mars have an ocean?
Yes, it did. I know this.
So what was that answer?
Totally
Yes,
didn't.
yes.
Totally didn't. No oceans.
Answer?
No.
Correct, no ocean. Where is the soul?
What is a soul?
In the chicken soup.
It's got something to do with soup.
Not feet.
I'm gonna have to ask
Which
for an answer.
soul?
I'm gonna have to ask 3, 2. I'm sorry, boys. Correct in the soup. Yes.
You know Mr. Soup Tuesdays!
Okay. Why does Nigel Farage exist? Speak round.
Oh, because we have to have a, I can't use that word, there's a small child in the room, but you know what I mean. It rhymes with the word Jeremy Hunt.
Okay. 3,
multiple
2,
diversity, lots of
1. Sorry, too
secretaries,
slow.
the past.
Okay. What is keeping Stephen Hawking alive?
The will.
Blood of a dragon.
Soda
The
Street.
blood of a dragon!
Excellent. Correct.
Yes!
Why do some people find it hard to do accents?
They're too hairy. They're too tall.
Their legs are shorter on the outside than they are on the inside.
We now fast forward to 2 hours in and we are at a tie-break situation. This last question will decide who is the ultimate quiz champion.
Okay, question 312. We've been here for a while. Through the medium of interpretive dance, can you please explain what goes into fireworks?
I wish it was.
You have 30 seconds.
No. We need Jonathan to do it.
No.
Come on. You're on one.
And Monkey Team have it. Monkey Team have it. I'm sorry to say Monkey Team get it. We have a new champions. 2 girls and a monkey.
Damn no diversity.
That is our story. Thank you very much indeed.